Welcome to the Lone Star State. In this video, we'll uncover the eerie tales and chilling legends that shroud Texas's most haunted places in an air of mystery. From historic buildings with lingering spirits to abandoned asylums that echo with ghostly whispers, join us as we explore the enigmatic stories and paranormal occurrences that have left an indelible mark on the landscape of Texas. Prepare to be both intrigued and unsettled as we dive into the realm of the most haunted places in Texas. This is Haunted Authentic. In the heart of Austin, Texas, on the corner of 6th and Brazos Street, stands the Driskill Hotel. It is the oldest existing hotel in the state and has served as a presidential headquarters, a home for plains-worn cowboys, and a hotbed of paranormal activity for over a century. The Driskill was built in 1886 by Jesse Driskill, a cattle baron that had made his fortune selling beef to the Confederate Army during the Civil War. In 1884, Driskill purchased the land that the hotel stands on and built a monumental 60-room palace in the heart of Austin. However, it wasn't long after the grand opening that the reality of owning a large hotel began to grip Jesse Driskill. His cattle were laid victim to a bitter winter storm, and he had lived a hard lifestyle on late nights, alcohol, and gambling, ultimately costing him his fortune. He sold the Driskill in 1888, close to destitute. Despite only owning the Driskill for a short time, the Colonel remains a major point of emphasis in the supernatural state the hotel remains in. Guests have often reported seeing Driskill standing in the hotel room staring out a window with a cigar, sometimes even reacting to the guest inquiring about his presence, only to fade into the darkness. Other stories have surfaced around room 525 and the tragic story of a bride left at the altar that took her own life after a shopping spree. However, an untimely death of a child remains one of the more prevalent apparitions to appear. The story is that of a young girl who died on the steps of the grand staircase in the hotel and can be heard giggling and playing on the steps as guests use the staircase. Perhaps the most famous ghostly presence in the Driskill is that of another young bride. Legend has it that in the late 1800s, a bride-to-be named Samantha died tragically on her wedding day after tripping on her dress and falling down the grand staircase. Since then, guests and staff have reported encountering an elegant lady in a white gown, believed to be the spirit of Samantha. Some claim to have heard the soft rustle of her gown on the staircase, or even felt a chill in the air as she passes by. The Driskill Hotel is a timeless relic that has been preserved by local Texans for over 50 years. Whether it is the spirit of its founder appearing in the shadows, or the disembodied voice of a young girl, the Driskill holds on to the past by the ones who can't seem to move on, leaving us to step into the hallowed halls of the enigmatic and experiencing the overwhelming sense of the supernatural. On the outskirts of Wichita Falls, Texas, the White Sanitarium stands as a silent sentinel, cloaked in both architectural grandeur and a chilling history. Its story begins in the late 19th century when Dr. Frank S. White, a pioneering psychiatrist, sought to establish a haven for the mentally afflicted. Dr. White's revolutionary methods focused on kindness and compassion, a stark departure from the harsh practices of the era. As the 20th century unfolded, the sanitarium faced financial woes. The advent of new treatments and changing attitudes towards mental health led to its decline. The once pristine halls echoed with fewer footsteps, and the building's maintenance waned. In 1955, the sanitarium closed its doors, leaving behind a legacy both storied and stained. It wasn't long before the stories of hauntings began to emerge. Some claim to have seen the spectral figure of a woman in white wandering the grounds, her mournful gaze fixed on the building she once called home. The legend of the White Lady was born, believed to be the tormented soul of a patient who had suffered greatly during her time at the sanitarium. Other reports of phantom cigarette ends can be seen floating in the recreation room, perhaps held onto by former patients and staff. Paranormal investigators and thrill seekers flock to the site, armed with recording equipment and cameras. Many reported capturing unexplained phenomena, flickering lights, sudden drops in temperature, and unsettling apparitions in their photographs. The White Sanitarium became a hotbed of supernatural intrigue, drawing both believers and skeptics to its unsettling embrace. Today, the White Sanitarium stands as a testament to the intersection of history and the paranormal. Its grand architecture has weathered the years, and its legacy continues to cast a long shadow over Wichita Falls. The stories of hauntings persist, shared in hushed tones around campfires and on late-night radio shows. Whether one believes in the supernatural or not, the White Sanitarium's history and the echoes of its past remain an indelible part of the Texan landscape. Along the sun-kissed shores of Galveston Island, the Hotel Galvez stands as a venerable witness to the passage of time and a repository of rich history and eerie legends. This elegant Spanish colonial revival masterpiece, often referred to as the Queen of the Gulf, has a storied past that intertwines with the glistening Gulf of Mexico and the mysteries of the afterlife. Opened in 1911, the hotel was named in honor of Bernardo de Galvez, a Spanish military hero who played a crucial role in the American Revolutionary War. The architecture echoed the spirit of the Spanish Empire, with intricate ironwork, stately columns, and lush gardens. Over the years, Hotel Galvez hosted notable guests such as Franklin D. Roosevelt, Howard Hughes, and the infamous mobster Al Capone. With its long history, it's no surprise that Hotel Galvez has accrued its share of ghostly lore. Among the most famous legends is the tale of a ghost bride. According to the story, a young woman dressed in a flowing white gown haunts the 5th floor of the hotel. As the tale goes, the bride met a tragic end on what was supposed to be the happiest day of her life, when her groom perished at sea. Heartbroken, she ended her own life, and her anguished spirit is said to linger in the hallways and rooms, forever seeking her lost love. Another one of the more remarkably eerie tales involves the Sisters of Charity. As caretakers of the St. Mary's Orphans Asylum, they were tasked with protecting 90 young children in the path of a deadly hurricane. When the storm passed, all of the young bodies of the children were found on the beach, close to the sisters. Because they were buried where they were found, it is rumored that the grounds of the Hotel Galvez sit atop the forgotten graves, further fueled by the apparitions of terrified children hiding and running in the hotel. Guests and staff alike have recounted spine-tingling encounters with the hotel's confines. Visitors have reported seeing apparitions of women in vintage clothing, unexplained drafts, and temperature drops, even flickering lights and televisions turning on and off without any logical explanation. Some claim to have heard soft whispers or mournful cries echoing through the hallways, adding to the air of mystery that envelops the hotel. The Hotel Galvez is a living testament to the past, where history, elegance, and the supernatural converge. With its tragic tales, spectral brides, and enigmatic apparitions, it remains a beacon for those intrigued by the mysteries that lie beyond the veil of the living. Whether a believer or a skeptic, one cannot deny the allure of the Hotel Galvez and the spine-chilling tales that have woven themselves into its very fabric. In downtown Houston, Texas, the historic La Carafe stands as a silent witness to the passage of time and a repository of countless stories, both known and whispered. This dimly lit, unassuming building has borne witness to nearly 2 centuries of Houston's history, and its walls are said to hold echoes of the past that refuse to fade away. La Carafe's history dates back to the late 19th century, when the city of Houston was a burgeoning hub of commerce and culture. The building was constructed in the 1860s, and its original purpose was a bakery and deli serving the growing community. Over the years, its role evolved, transitioning into a saloon and later a tavern. Its vintage wooden bar, a relic from the past, still stands as a centerpiece, worn smooth by generations of patrons' elbows. The building itself exudes history, with its brick walls bearing the scars of time, and the creaking floorboards telling stories of footsteps from days long gone. La Carafe has survived fires, floods, and economic shifts, making it one of the oldest continuously operated commercial buildings in Houston. Yet it's not the weight of history that gives La Carafe its unique atmosphere. Over the years, stories of inexplicable occurrences and eerie encounters have woven a tapestry of haunting lore around the tavern. Regulars and staff have reported a variety of unexplainable phenomena, from flicking lights and unaccounted whispers to items moving on their own accord. One of the most famous apparitions said to haunt La Carafe is a former bar manager named Carl. Described as a spectral figure in 19th century dress, he is often seen standing near the windows, gazing out into the street as if waiting for someone. Throughout the years, visitors have claimed to hear hushed conversations and distant laughter when the tavern is empty. Whispers that seem to drift from nowhere and everywhere, as if the walls themselves are trying to communicate with stories they've absorbed over the decades. Barware and objects on the shelves have been known to mysteriously move or even vanish, only to reappear in different locations days later. Some believe this mischievous phenomenon could be the work of playful spirits who find joy in interacting with the living. La Carafe's haunting tales and historic significance have turned into more than just a bar. It's a living museum where patrons can experience a tangible connection to the past. The ambiance of dimly lit rooms, antique furniture, and the feeling of being watched by unseen eyes evoke a sense of timelessness, bridging the gap between modern Houston and its storied past. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, there's an undeniable allure to the idea that La Carafe's walls hold the imprints of lives lived long ago. As day turns into night and the soft glow of lanterns casts a warm hue across its interior, La Carafe continues to be a place where history and mystery intertwine, offering a glimpse into a world that defies explanation. Set in the heart of downtown San Antonio, Texas, stands an iconic symbol of American history and bravery, the Alamo. Its limestone walls have witnessed centuries of events, from the time of its construction to its role as a pivotal site during the Texas Revolution. But beyond its historical significance, the Alamo is also shrouded in tales of hauntings and restless spirits, which add an eerie layer to its storied past. The story of the Alamo dates back to the 18th century, when Spanish settlers founded the Mission San Antonio de Valero in 1744. This mission aimed to convert indigenous people to Christianity and establish a foothold in the region. Over time, the mission evolved into a complex with living quarters, a church, and defensive walls, eventually gaining the name Alamo, Spanish for cottonwood. In the early 19th century, the mission's strategic location caught the attention of military planners. During the Texas Revolution in 1836, the Alamo became the site of a harrowing battle. A small group of Texan defenders, including famous figures like Davy Crockett and Jim Bowie, held the fort against a much larger Mexican force led by General Santa Anna. The 13-day siege ended in tragedy and bloody battle, resulting in the death of all the Texan defenders. The rallying cry, "Remember the Alamo," would become a mantra for Texan forces in their struggle for independence. It is said that the intense emotions and violent events that occurred within the Alamo's walls have left a lingering energy that some claim to feel even today. Reports of ghostly encounters and unexplained phenomena have been woven into the fabric of the Alamo's history. One of the most famous ghosts believed to haunt the Alamo is that of a young boy named James Bonham, who fought and died during the Battle of the Alamo. Visitors and staff alike have reported seeing sightings of a young boy in 19th century attire, wandering the grounds as if searching for something. Some believe he is seeking his lost father or looking for his own grave. Another spectral presence often mentioned is that of a tall man. This figure is said to appear near the chapel's main door, standing as a guardian over the site. Some speculate that this could be the spirit of a Texan defender who remains vigilant even in death. The chapel itself is rumored to be a focal point of paranormal activity, Visitors have described hearing whispers, footsteps, and even the faint echoes of battle cries emanating from within its walls. The air is said to become heavy and an unexplainable sense of sorrow and unrest. Numerous visitors, tourists, and even employees of the Alamo have shared their eerie experiences. Some claim to have captured ghostly apparitions in photographs, while others recount tales of sudden drops in temperature, unexplained sounds, and an overwhelming feeling of being watched. Park rangers have reported doors mysteriously opening and closing, despite no one being nearby. The history and hauntings of the Alamo are deeply intertwined, creating an atmosphere that echoes with the past. Whether one believes in the supernatural or not, the Alamo's significance as a site of sacrifice and bravery is undeniable. Its historical legacy and the stories of restless spirits serve as a reminder of the human cost of conflict and the enduring impact of the past on the present. So as the sun sets over the Alamo's weathered stones, it leaves behind a sense of wonder, respect, and a touch of unease, inviting us to reflect on the enigmatic layers that make up this storied landmark. Thank you for joining us on our journey to the most haunted places in the state of Texas. Please consider subscribing to the channel and turning notifications on so that you're alerted when the latest chapter in our quest to find the most haunted places in America is released. Suggestions for new places to explore are always welcomed at hauntedauthentic@gmail.com.